Way. Am I kind of quiet for you, Aubrey?
No, you're pretty loud for me, actually. Maybe
Okay, that's good. Well, how are you? How are you, though? I need to... I'm trying to get levels right now, if you can't tell.
I'm doing okay. I'm doing okay. I'm just thinking about my thoughts and opinions and the things I'm gonna say and talk about and
It's just a lot to think
jib-jab and
about.
yada 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 and
It's yada yada yada. Yeah.
boo
Yeah.
yada boo boo boo.
I've realized that I hit the start recording button, but I actually don't know if I pressed that before or after I started singing. Oops.
Oopie.
So, hi. It's Mason and Aubrey. We're doing a podcast today. How are you doing?
We're here. We're queer and
we're ready to tell you about deer. Or birds, actually. I have birds pulled up.
Oh.
Well,
Okay.
I am Mason, king of the beaks. Why is mine always king? Sorry, never mind. I am just a passing knower of beaks. Mason.
And
You're really giving this one some thought. Tell us, Aubrey, what are you?
I like to drink Hello Kitty Ramen soda. Aubrey.
Wow, that really does say something, though. You know, it's fitting. It's fitting with how we have our overlays set up right now, too.
Absolutely.
No, you don't know. This is a thing I've been working on in the background while you were getting your shit pulled up. You know how I said I was going to find that backpack picture of the really weird, gross...
You can get this sound.
I don't...
One second.
What are you doing?
Shoot.
Oh my god, did you pop it early, Aubrey?
No, I'm trying to pop it. One second.
No, I'm trying to pop it. Stop it. Shut up. I'm trying to pop it, guys. God. Oh, there it was. I think that registered. No, Aubrey, I have a wonderful picture of a gross backpack baby pulled up on your side of the screen. It's the one we found when we were talking to Mark, remember? Sorry, not coworker Mark. Other podcaster Mark.
Oh yeah.
Mr. I.
But who doesn't know multiple Marks, you know?
Dude, right. It's a common name, but I bet you the reason everyone knows so many Marks is because they're pretty interesting and outgoing people too.
Well, this is the Midwest, so Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John are pretty common names.
Oh wait, yeah, it's a Bible thing. Never mind.
Yeah, for those of you who didn't grow up religious, those are the first couple books of the New Testament in the Christian Bible.
Whoops. Forgot. Whoopsie. Okay. Well, hi guys. Back at it again. Normally we do a guest episode after a regular one, but the sketch has been kind of rude this week. So we were not wanting to get someone else involved in this chaos, TBH. So
yeah, we've just it's been a little unpredictable, and that's all right. That's the way things be sometimes when you have a job. So
job and other interests outside.
And other interests and obligations and chores and such.
Great.
So, well, do you want to take this first?
I mean, I guess you I think you started the last two times, so maybe I should. Maybe I should, and I think
I tend to jump the gun, so.
No, it's more so that a lot of times I end up letting you take the lead too. It's not just you. It's don't worry. Yeah, I'd like to because my topic is more in season. Well, it's more in season, I guess. I kind of wanted to pick something to kind of ease us in the autumn direction because we're getting there. The last couple weeks, it's been getting the slightest bit cooler. It's only getting up to like the 80s now. It's so great. God, I was dying. But you know what that chill means, though, Aubrey?
Mm-hmm.
The chill represents the chill that goes up your spine. Because it's spooky season.
Yes, it is.
And to kick off spooky season, because I want to make that such a big deal on this podcast, and it will continue to be for the rest of its existence, I just wanted to get something a little bit ghoulier. Just like a ghouly topic, It's something a little bit nostalgic, too, which I know that's a big thing for the wintertime as well. So, today, I'm going to be talking about some really hard mofos to kill in D&D. Some of the hardest, toughest badasses of Dungeons and Dragons. Because, notorious for being a complicated role-playing game, Dungeons & Dragons also has some extremely complicated enemies inside of it. How should I start, though? I have a couple articles pulled up. Would you like the one that's just the hard to kill, or do you want something that is back and forth, hard and easy? What you feeling?
I want the hardest motherfuckers in the game. I mean, I ain't trying to waste my time with kobolds.
Kobolds.
Let's be real.
Hey Aubrey, let's test your D&D knowledge. Kobolds were second on the list. Nice.
Okay, so they're not dangerous.
Oh yeah.
Or they're not the hardest. Yeah. Hey, listen. I played some D&D.
Yes, you have.
But not enough that I have much knowledge, but you can blame Mason for that, as he is the one who taught me to play.
Well, writing campaigns are hard, okay, and school takes a lot of effort and energy.
Yeah, yeah.
Aubrey, what if me, you, Caleb, and Cole ran one? Would you do that? Okay, I'll put some thought into it. Well, I'd say I think it's fitting that kobolds aren't... I'm not going to go through this whole list because this isn't the one I wanted to focus on this time. But I agree, kobolds are kind of tough, but I would not put them at the weakest just because I have heard some horror stories of what you could do with the kobolds. Actually, I may want to look it up. I think it's... Oh my god, I still can't spell. Nope, this ain't it. Nope, this ain't it. Nope, I'm getting to some weird porn. I gotta be careful.
Yeah, you do.
Well, maybe Notorious Kobold Trap. I'm sorry, it's just a really specific story. Kobold traps, creative kobold ideas. Okay, well, I cannot... It seems that this is a story that's much more dated at this point, so it's not really internet bound, but there is an old story about what someone once did using sort of the ideal kobold trap. Kobolds are very smart creatures, but they are just not very strong and are usually very cowardly. They're they could be a playable race in the game. They are pretty close to being humanoid. What is terrifying about them though is the fact that they are smart and also usually very conniving. There is a notorious trap from, I want to say maybe first or second edition of Dungeons and Dragons, which for those of you who do not know, there are multiple editions of this tabletop game that you play with your friends. I don't know how
people
deep...
at this point know what Dungeons and Dragons
is. What I specifically want to get across is that there are different versions of the game that have come out over time that vary wildly in complexity. The first one being the one I kind of want to focus on in this one because of its maximum level of complexity. But I believe in an earlier edition of the game, someone had created a kobold trap utilizing what they're good at, and ideally it's just a room where you go in and the door just locks behind you, and then there's just a bunch of holes in the walls that they just start shooting you through. And it was such a notorious trap that has killed so many groups of adventurers that it just became well known. Apparently not well enough known for me to just look it up. I just maybe don't know the right name. But yeah, kobolds are dangerous in a way. But still, if you stand in front of one, I mean, your your child could probably punch it in the face. But anyway, like I said, we're not here to talk about the weekends. We're here to talk about the spookiest things. And you know what's more spooky than mortality, Aubrey?
Really, honestly, I don't know.
Trolls. Trolls are yeah. I'd say trolls are not surprising to see. Trolls are oh yeah. I don't really want to read directly verbatim like from this article, which I will say it's on the Gamer website, and it's by Paul DeSlavo. Thank you, Paul DeSlavo. It's a pretty recent one too.
Did it hurt to say the Gamer website though?
No, I'm happy to see that this is on the Gamer website. That's how you know that this is true. This is factual. It's all posted on the Gamer. Gamers don't lie.
Absolutely.
Trolls. They are a very well-known one. Yes, they are. Trolls, you never encountered one of these, but they are one of the more they're a very interesting mob, because what they do is not really in brains, it's just more so they're just really friggin' hard to kill. To kill a troll, you have to do something about the fact that it constantly regenerates. It is always healing. It gets I believe at the beginning of each of its turn it gets 10 HP back. And the only way that you can actually kill the damn thing, because this happens, even if it goes to 0, it'll still heal 10 on the next turn. So you have to shut that off somehow. And normally, you don't have to think at what you're doing when you hit something. You kind of just hit it until it falls, especially something like a troll, where it's just a creature that jumps at you. But if you are not smart in how you deal with it, it will kill you, because it will not stop getting back up. And that's scary. But how you deal with it is usually with fire or acid. Something about it is just a destructive force. Just does a number on a troll, can take it out easy. See, that's not too bad. Not that hard to kill. But you do have to do a little bit of thinking. So, next thing on the list. Number 9. Number 9. A body taker plant. I have never heard of this thing before. Oh, it's new. Recently added. Appeared in Van Richen's guide at Ravenloft. A body taker plant is a massive telepathic plant that aims to replace humanoids with identical copies that it controls, called podlings. While this plant can make for an excellent antagonist of a paranoia-driven horror adventure, even if it is found and bested in combat, it will likely return. This is because if a body taker plant is killed, it will regrow within the year unless the ground it is rooted in is poisoned. Ooh, so another case of, like, it, even if you kill it, it come back unless you really kill it.
Yikes.
It will probably be a reoccurring theme. That's interesting, though. So, it basically kind of it's like a plant that creates synths, like in Fallout 4. Just making, like, did you ever play Fallout 4?
No. Wait, I played 5, right?
There is only 4.
There's only 4. Then yeah, I've cut that. Yikes.
Actually, if you think I'd cut that, that's funny. Also, actually, no, there are 5, because I guess there's 3 and then New Vegas, but New Vegas didn't count towards the counting for some reason. Well, it was made by a different studio, now that I think about it. Anyway, so what's next on our list? It's something else I've never heard of before. You want to take a pass at that one, Aubrey? Why don't you tell me how to pronounce the name of this one?
Necrochar. Like a
The
Pokemon.
Necrochar! Like a
Okay,
body
give me
plant.
Give
Sorry.
me 1 second. I have to tell Cole to let my she's
Oh my god. Well, I'm gonna talk about the Necrochar anyway because I don't wait on people, Aubrey. Like the body taker plant, the Necrochar is another difficult to keep down horror that was introduced in the new Guide to Ravenloft. It brings beings of living blood that are capable of puppeteering those with open wounds. Nearly impossible to permanently do away with, leading many to simply attempt to seal them away. While they only have 67 HP, if defeated, their remains if they aren't recovered with holy water or kept within a blessed container, it will automatically revive in a few days. Okay, so I was right about this reoccurring theme of not dying. Seemingly, what is the most terrifying thing to our tabletop gamers is the inability to make something die for good.
I mean, I suppose, yeah, because you always want to be able to bring the homies back.
You do always want to bring the homies back. I will say though, I'm a little bit worried about this article because so far 2 of the things on the list are new shit, so it's starting to sound more like an ad for this book than an actual list. I don't dig it, but at least they're scary.
I don't like that.
No, I don't. We're not about that here. Okay, so coming to save the day, next on the list is something that is definitely not that. Not that. It is very old. In fact, so old. I mean, look at this bitch. It's a mummy lord. The Lord of Mummies. Or a Lord of Mummies, I should specify. Mummy lords are mummies are already strong. They're already very hard to kill. But a mummy lord, they can kill you without even needing to try. And we actually almost had this happen in my first ever D&D campaign that I ever ran. I was in it. I was not running. I was not smart enough as a kid to do that. Mummy lords have a wonderful, wonderful thing as part of them called mummy rot, and it only exists in a mummy lord because apparently royalty means that you have more diseases. Mummy rot is particularly dangerous because unlike most other illnesses in D&D, that like diseases and shit that like you would catch randomly, or like poisons status or something like that, that's still tick damage that eventually goes away. Mummy rot, however, is different because that shit is lethal. It will kill you. And it's not even like your HP doesn't constantly decline or anything like that. It's more so that your body over the course of time will start to rot, your character's body. And over that period of time, you will actually lose, depending on your DM, you will lose like your strength stats and your dexterity stats as you continue to rot until you perish. And what's even worse is, unlike most other ailments in D&D, you can't just get rid of it. You actually have to find a greater wizard or paladin to exorcise the rot out of you. And
damn,
yeah, it's no joke. Even in one of the newest editions of the game, it's still a thing.
mummy rot ain't no joke, y'all.
If your dick turning green, you best start to scream.
Yup.
Thank you, Mummy. Thank you, Mummy Lord.
Those wise words.
Of course. I have a lot of experience, okay? Okay, yeah. So next on our list is actually surprisingly low at number 6. It's the guy that made me want to make this this content in the first place. It's the vampire. Vampires.
The D&D vampire.
Yes, the tabletop vampire is not a joke. Not a joke, just like Mr. Mummylord. We are really starting to get to the heavy hitters up here. I'm curious what's going to be above vampire, though. So vampires, there's a lot that goes into it. It's not, I guess it's once again another case of you can't just kill them. There's a lot more effort that has to go into the process of killing a damn vampire. Because, I don't know, like, those other things, they, like, come back to life after a certain few days, whatever, it's fine. But you know how fucking hard it is to, like, you actually having to go through the roleplay process of requiring the tools that you need to kill a vampire? Because if your DM gives a shit about the lore and actually making things, like, realistic for your characters, you best have garlic, you best have steaks, you best have some kind of silver, you best have some holy water. You need all of these things. Because vampires in D&D, they do not go down. They don't. They're incredibly powerful, and also from what I'm reading on this article, I don't remember this particularly, but apparently after they've been defeated, they will just turn to a cloud of mist and escape if you do not kill them the proper way. They are incredibly conniving and will always get away unless you go through the proper methods of getting rid of it. Like, it's really, instead of just being like, just seal me away because I'm going to be back tomorrow, it's like, bitch, you better know what my weakness is, you know? Because you know, a pile of bloody goo, immortal bloody goo, he'll keep coming at you, but I mean, it's not smart. A vampire's way smart. Moving on. Number 9. The Lich.
Number 5, the Lich.
Shit.
Can I just say, I'm familiar with the concept of the Lich because of Adventure Time.
Harry Potter's another good example.
Is Voldemort a Lich?
Yes, he is a Lich that J.K. Rowling disguised as being her own idea. Voldemort's 8 Horcruxes are basically just a Lich's phylacteries that she just gave a different name.
Huh.
Because the idea of a Lich is it is a person that has studied necromancy and undead arts to the extent that they have learned how to collect other beings' souls and use those souls to basically create the power of reigniting their soul if it were to ever perish, pretty much. They take other souls so they can give themselves extra lives, basically.
Right.
It's also like your character in D&D can become a Lich if your DM will allow it. It basically, I mean, it just takes the study, the knowledge, and then, you know, all the soul power. There's actually a really good story my first DM ever told me back in high school. His dad used to play D&D all the time, too, and they used to play back in first edition as well. They had all of the old shit. Oh my god, I saw all of those books. All falling apart, of course. But his dad became a Lich at one point in one of their campaigns. And so to kill a Lich, they will always respawn at their phylactery if they have one available, which is what makes them so terrifying. Outside of, you know, having spells like Power Word Kill, which basically you utter a word and people die. Avada Kedavra. J.K. Rowling is not original. She steals.
Ooh, call her out.
It's not like anyone else
the
needs
internet
to
already
at
hates
this
her
point.
anyways. So,
Yeah.
Like, she's kind of been screwed.
This is why I'm okay with outwardly disgracing this woman. But a really cool thing that my DM's dad did is that he created the hardest phylactery to find and destroy, which was he put his phylactery inside of a sea turtle and set it out into the ocean. Sure, if he dies and comes back to life, he's gonna pop up in the middle of the ocean. But he's a Lich. He can figure out how to get out.
Yeah.
Who the fuck is gonna find a sea turtle in the ocean randomly? Like, isn't that such a good idea? Putting your respawn point on a place that would just in the ocean? That's the hardest place to find something.
Make a fair point.
And not to mention, this is D&D we talking about here. There's no scuba diving in submarines. How the hell? How'd they do it, you know? I guess water breathing. Never mind. I'm moving on before my point falls apart. Number 4. Aubrey, you know this one. It's a Rakasha. A Rakshasa. My portrayal of them was not exactly correct because of how I was using it for my campaign. The being as the, I believe he was the manifestation of pride. But a Rakshasa is a incredibly powerful werebeast, kind of like a werewolf. But it is so... Oh, wait, no, I'm wrong. A Rakshasa is actually a demon from the 9th one of the levels of hell. It is almost always manifested as a tiger, badass, scary. Also, it has opposable hands and thumbs, and the hands are always backwards, badass, scary. They are formidable foes. So formidable so that whenever Will originally saw the hand of the Rakshasa in the campaign that I made, he wigged the fuck out and was way more scared than everybody else just because he knew what they were. It is Will we're talking about.
Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, because I was just like, you know what? Just go with the flow. Just go with the flow.
I don't blame you. It was your first campaign. But anyway, for brevity's sake, I'm going to go ahead and move on. They're just cool and really hard to kill. Oh, yeah, that's the big thing. When a Rakshasa dies, it goes back to hell. You can't kill it.
Ooh.
Yeah. So, it could come back from hell with a vengeance. Next, we have an Empryon, which I've seen these things before, but I don't really know what they are. Descendants of gods, so they're demigods. They never age. They are effectively immortal unless they are killed in battle somehow. The souls get transported back to their home planet and are resurrected by their parents. So they just can't die. Okay, so yeah, I kind of called it before I got through this list that the scariest things in D&D are just things that can't die. Oof.
Number 2, the Aboleth.
Yes, another thing I've seen a picture of but have no clue of.
It's an aquatic monster.
Oh god!
Or you can encounter psychic beings with... Okay, they can... Oh my god, they can control minds, alter your physiology, make you only able to breathe air. Oh god. Jesus. So you can put it down permanently, but it has to be on the material plane.
As long as it's on the material plane. No, it's saying...
Oh, but it still regrows. Its soul is going to regrow a new body in following months. So, dear Lord, you're never free from some of these creatures.
That thing is mortifying. How would you like to see something with that many teeth swimming around below you? Would you imagine seeing this in the Lake of the Ozarks? Anyway.
Quit that. No,
I'm sorry.
Don't ruin lake time for me.
I'm sorry. So the hardest thing to kill, and it's not very surprising to me, it's a revenant. Revenants are vengeful spirits. Basically they're just ghosts that came back to life because they were killed in such a horrific and passionate way that they would not, they just, they couldn't stay dead.
Not to be confused with the 2015 Leonardo DiCaprio film, The Revenant.
Revenants, I believe, come back in their own body. I don't believe they manifest as ghosts. They actually come back as in other bodies and regenerate in said body, starting off in their own. But if they somehow get defeated, their strong sense of revenge will just, they just can't. They cannot leave the material plane until they deal with their business. So they just possess another body until their deed is done, basically.
Damn.
Revenants are actually a playable race in Dungeons and Dragons if you have a willing DM that will let you do a little bit of homebrewing on your backstory. It's an interesting way to go. I will say though, it's kind of a selfish role to take if you decide to play a Revenant, because you're probably gonna end up pressuring your DM into making your character's vendetta very based around what the story is. Yeah. And no one wants to show off or someone that wants to be the center of attention.
Absolutely.
Not when everybody's trying to. That's the whole point of roleplay. But anyway, yeah. Ghosts. Those are the scariest things in D&D. Boo. That's my topic.
Okay.
Wow. Aubrey, I stayed on it for the whole time. Are you proud of me?
Way to go. Yeah, I am.
I got through the whole list. Well, what are we talking about?
I'm so glad you asked, because it is time for my favorite time, as always, when I find a new reality television show to watch for hours upon end.
Reality Trash Watch.
Hulu recently put all of the Wife Swap American series that aired on ABC onto their channel, and this is just some pure early 2000s reality gold, if I do say so myself. And that is not to say it doesn't have its problems, but it has been highly, highly entertaining. Like, it is just, it's fascinating to me to watch, even though I am aware that like a lot of it's staged, a lot of reality television is staged, a lot of it's fake. Producers are smart. They know if they ask the same question 20 different ways, they'll eventually get the answer they want and can use. And they aren't going to catch every moment, so they might ask them to reenact things like that. But I'm not here to talk about the fakeness of the show, because we know it's fake, but we still watch it anyways. There's some of y'all guys still watching The Bachelor and The Bachelorette every season, and like...
Okay, no need to punch it down, Aubrey. They know.
Ooh, shots fired, but... Alright. What really made me want to watch this show was the fact that, like, it's a dated concept. That's not to say that this show only features heterosexual couples, but it predominantly and mainly features heterosexual couples.
Oh, I thought it did. Wow. Okay.
No, that was my thought too, and it isn't always the wives that swap. There is a couple husband swap episodes.
Oh.
So that is fascinating as well to me. Now, there is like some like funny things that I want to talk about, and then I want to talk about what happens to these people after wife swap, and like the effects of reality television and the ways that they get portrayed, and then that kind of feeds into the fakeness of the show.
Okay.
But for now, let's cherish it for what it is. This is just really a treasure. Treasure.
It's a trove. It's a real trove.
Focusing in on these weird dated gender roles that we don't adhere to
So yes, on this show called Wife Swap, we take one wife, and then we take another wife, and then we make them stand in each other's houses and look at how different each other's lives are on Wife Swap. I'm sure I got it pretty good.
There's a couple in particular that I really like, because what's the word I'm looking for? I'm amused by looking back on old politics and how people handled them. And because this show wants to like put opposite couples up against each other for the swap and make things interesting, a lot of them tend to be like, okay, here's a really politically conservative religious family, and then here is a non-religious, maybe non-traditional family that is more liberal. there's a couple episodes where it really is just like a conservative family versus a liberal family, like, or Democrats versus Republicans, honestly, for one episode.
Gross.
But you get some just hilarious things out of it. Like, I mean, obviously, like, there's something sad about some of them because you're like, get it together, you're an adult, don't act like this, or I can't believe people like let somebody say this on air, but it's just thrilling. And here's one where this is a voice clip. There was a punk rock family and then a more conservative Christian family that swapped lives. And this little, I believe he's 8 or 9 years old boy, has a mohawk. He's super punk rock. Like, the parents say he's more punk rock than they were. And this is his first interaction with the new mom and his subsequent little interview snippet afterwards.
He's taking up the torch. During this time, we proceeded to watch a clip from this that did not catch in the audio, but the kid has a lot of very strong opinions about people, and it's kind of crazy to see. Editing Mason, by the way. Hi.
It is just, I mean, it just tickles me that this little 8-year-old kid already has these opinions, and he's just like, the confidence with which he says them is like that of a 75-year-old man.
Right?
Like, it is, it's hilarious. And I will say, like, in the end of this episode, like, he really becomes a much more behaved kid. Like, he's still, punk rock till the day he dies, and I respect that.
Hell yeah.
But yeah, and I mean, there's also there are some heartwarming things about this show that, like, they will, show how this helps them bond more as a family, or help them open up to their parents or to their child, or the parents will let their children have some more freedom or some more fun.
Yeah, I will say, like, from what I have seen, like, looking in on Wife Swap, it's not the show that you assume whenever you hear the phrase wife swap. I feel like when you hear the phrase wife swap, it's like some assumption that, like, two dudes are like, man, freaking hate my wife, and I just want a new wife for a week. Just see how much I actually care about her, or something like that. And you, like, just hanging out with someone else's wife. I just feel like it just feels, wife swap just has a much more, like, skeezy connotation to it. I don't know. Maybe that's just what, like, the people would assume whenever the show was on, and what I would hear. Because I mean, that's what it sounded like to the people around me, I guess. But I did grow up in a more conservative place, so maybe that's why those assumptions were made. But I mean, like, from what I've seen, though, this show really does a lot of work in actually, it's teaching two different families how they can put efforts into improving their lives and also their children's lives.
Yeah, and opening yourself up to new lifestyles is important as well, because, like, in some of these cases, these kids have never experienced another way of life. And it's like, I mean, especially, like, there's kids that have been homeschooled and their parents legitimately do not take them out into the real world except to go to the grocery store every couple of weeks and stuff like that. And it's like, you're doing your child a disservice, because your child needs to experience other cultures and other ways of life so that, like, when they become an adult and enter the real world, they're not terrified and freaked out about all this stuff because they didn't know about it before. Like, which is gonna, this is gonna segue into my next topic, which is the mess up stories about people on Wife Swap and the untold truth of Wife Swap. These are two articles. One is from NikkiSwift.com by Brian Boone, and the other one is from The List by Alicia Hill and Joey Kogue. They're pretty fascinating.
Okay.
There's obviously, everyone knows, because Wife Swap's been kind of gaining some traction on TikTok. I've noticed a lot of people are watching it, like, sharing clips. There's the notorious Stockdale family, and that tragically, like, 9 years after appearing on Wife Swap, the youngest son killed his mother, his third brother, and then tried to kill himself, but luckily he got to the hospital and survived.
That's...
He ended up he ended up getting charged and didn't get jail time because he's not guilty due to mental illness. But like, it seems to me that really could be the truth, because I haven't watched the full episode, but I have seen the clips of his family's episode, and they were extremely sheltering their children. Like, that it was a farm homestead kind of situation. They've got 4 sons, and the youngest was the one that ended up kind of losing it. And I think it's just because he had been in this kind of lifestyle for the longest out of all the kids, because the older boys, I think they had a normal life at first.
I see. So it's safe to assume that the parents didn't change their ways after they appeared on the show.
No, I mean, I really doubt it. They wouldn't let their sons curse. They couldn't date. And they had like a tiny economy where chores were performed, and they would earn these little like chip token kind of things, and you could buy yourself radio time or chewing gum. Yeah.
Oh my god.
It was a pretty structured household that was pretty bad. Also, the family behind the balloon boy incident in 2009.
Yeah.
The family behind that was on a wife swap episode.
Wait, what?
Oh no, they were on Wife Swap twice, apparently.
What?
They're on Wife Swap twice, yeah.
How?
They were really popular with viewers. Just to remind people, there was no boy in the balloon. He was in their attic, and the parents have been on Wife Swap twice and did that, so like, it was 100% that they wanted like money and things.
Oh yeah, these are some TV people. My god, wow. So strange.
There was also a young girl who I have not seen her episode yet either. But they made her seem like extremely self-absorbed and extremely privileged. Like, she, said things like, "I'm the most popular girl in school. I feel sorry for people that are not gorgeous people."
Wow.
They also depicted her yelling at her parents all the time and demanding a daily present from beneath a Christmas tree that was kept up year-round.
It's a lot.
She sued them for $100 million, and so that was ABC and then Disney, alleging that episode was so staged that it maximized her public embarrassment so much. Like, they asked her to act more spoiled and to ham things up. They made her dad spray tan her legs. She says that, like, after the episode aired, she suffered from bullying, panic attacks, suicidal ideation, and also dropped off the honor roll and had to transfer to another school. So,
yikes.
Oh, and then this is not good. In 2012, the Alicia Gustafaro, the girl in question, reemerged when, according to Syracuse.com, she was arrested at a travel plaza and pleaded guilty to the charges of drug possession and illegal sex. So.
Oh man! Wow,
sad
that
to see
show.
The youth be turned that way.
That show fucked her up. Oh man.
Yeah.
Wow, that's. Wow.
That's really sad. There is an unaired episode of Wife Swap where they sent a man. Like, they did a husband and wife swap. Like, there was a gay man and a woman that swapped. And there was an episode that I watched in an early season of Wife Swap where it was a woman and a woman from a lesbian couple switching.
I see.
And that was really interesting. I mean, also there was a lot of things I didn't agree with because they purposefully swapped her with somebody who is really and really disagrees with that, so it was really uncomfortable for everyone. But I think there were some things learned, so that's good. But not in this case, because Jeffrey and Melissa Bedford of Haleyville, Oklahoma signed up to participate in 2004. and they didn't really pay attention to a lot of the contract because people never do, and they really should. So Melissa flew off to go to the new house, and when her replacement arrived, Jeffrey found out it was a guy, and they're quoted as saying it was their worst nightmare.
Wow.
Which I hope
Wow.
that
Okay.
they regret saying that. Almost immediately, Jeffrey tried to pull out, and the producers threatened to sue him if he did so. And they also said they weren't gonna tell him exactly where his wife was or pay for her to come back. So like that's not cool of them to do to him.
Yeah.
But it wasn't cool of him to like refuse to participate because it was a dude. Like,
yeah, it's not
you need
like
to get over yourself, my guy.
Dude,
I think maybe this could be a good learning situation for you.
It's like the dude thought that the show was what I thought it was when I was a kid.
Yeah,
like he thought he was supposed to be betting this person.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, chill out. A gay man's gonna be in your house for 2 weeks. It's gonna look so much better when he's gone.
Yeah. I will also say it says here that Jeffrey was reportedly so traumatized by even the idea of living temporarily with another man for the sake of reality television that he needed medical attention.
Oh my.
So,
oh.
Jeffrey Bedford, if you're listening, I hope you have changed your ways, and I hope you have released a public statement apologizing. Granted, I am sorry they treated you the way they did. They should have told you where your wife was.
Yeah, they shouldn't have been like, well, your wife's been kind of kidnapped by us now, so shut up. But you know.
Yeah, he tried to file a $10.2 million lawsuit against ABC and Disney, stating they caused him emotional stress that led to physical and mental harm. And the ABC spokesperson, Annie Fort, commented saying, "The show is meant to challenge a family's norms, and moreover, the agreement between the plaintiff and the RDF specifically stated that the swapped spouse could be either male or female." Damn, destroyed, boom, busted.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I that one made me sad that we never got to see that episode because I would have loved to see how that challenged him, but
I don't think there was enough video recorded for them to make an episode of it from what it sounded like.
Yeah. There is another wife swap contestant who lost his job after appearing in an episode.
Oh, damn.
Stephen Fowler regrets his decision from the 2009 episode because he was nicknamed the worst husband in the world.
Huh?
During the show, Fowler was asked by producers to play an over-the-top, uptight, hard-to-love husband. Not long after the show, he began to receive threatening phone calls and social media messages. People who watched the episode were really angry for the way he behaved on the show and felt like he was like basically the biggest asshole in the world and like such an ass of a husband. And because like so many people were voicing their opinion about this, he was fired from his job.
Man, it's almost like the point of reality TV being reality is for the protection of the people in it. You shouldn't tell people to be playing characters if you're gonna market them as real people, you know? Because that's the shit that happens.
Well, but people, they want to make good reality television, and they don't understand that people aren't dramatic of every day.
Yeah. Well, they need to understand that, but they also need to understand that their actions have consequences, and the people that watch the show come up with their own opinions and have too much free time. No. I don't know. Seems real narrow-sighted of the producers of this show.
And because of the contract, he couldn't talk about it for the first year after it aired. So he couldn't even apologize or anything. And so after that finally ended, he said he regretted and wished he wouldn't wish it on his own worst enemy.
Damn. Wow, yeah. Way to be just utterly disgraced. Ooh. Weird. Are shown.
Oh yeah, that's another one of the crappy things is families are shown like their quote unquote final cut of their episode, but like all the families that have held like viewing parties have said that like that bit them in the ass because what they showed on TV was not what they showed them.
Oh. I mean, maybe it was just still in the editing process, or maybe it was to appease them. I don't know. It depends on how much time they want to put work into it.
They say that, like, usually the one they get shown right after is, like, a lot more favorable.
I see.
There was also another couple that got divorced after their episode. But it seemed really crappy. It was just because they got in a really heated fight at the end of the episode, and that ended up really ruining things. And I think this was in another article that I read. It said that the husband was the wife's caretaker, but they didn't say that ever in the episode, so like people completely misconstrued things. And after they divorced, she stayed in that town, and people like shit on her. Like, this poor woman.
That's
not literally shit on her, just like verbally.
What I would assume not. Yeah.
I just want to clarify for the listeners.
I just want to clarify that for the listeners, that no defecation actually occurred over the course of this woman's bullying.
There is the few instances of people having positive reactions. Someone said that they receive a lot of letters from fans being like, "Can we have your daughter's phone number? They're so beautiful." Which is creepy if you ask me. Although not all feedback has been positive, she said a lot of this is Corey Bauer. She said a lot of people have been kind to her family since the appearance on this show. She said she didn't regret it, and probably not do it again though.
Yeah.
Pretty heavily edited. Contracts are not ideal. Yeah.
I mean, of course they're not. That's why they're contracts.
I will say it does really pay off to be on an episode of Wife Swap though, because you get like $20,000 for an episode.
Holy shit! That piece of shit wouldn't sit in a room with a gay man for 2 weeks for $25,000.
$20,000, but yeah.
I don't still. That's
when the show rebooted though in 2019, they were only offering $10,000.
Wow, you'd think the price would go up, but I guess not for their budget.
I think they realized people just want to be on TV.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, just to end, like, yes, I consider Wife Swap to be a relic of another time, which is why I can enjoy it and kind of, like, not dwell on the shitty things that are there. But, it's not like this here compares it to this horrifying makeover contest, The Swan, which is apparently an ill-advised exercise in perpetrating beauty standards long considered dangerous to women's mental health. And, like, it's not as bad as that, but even by modern standards, this is still a relic. When Reddit users were posed the question, what show has not aged well, a lot of people answered Wife Swapped. One user succinctly put it, my god, there's some racist, homophobic, and judgmental people on there.
Boy,
and there are. Like, there really are. But some of them, they have, what seems to be happy endings, and that's what I like. Like, there's an episode where this one dude, like, actually stops saying racial slurs and stops, like, allowing that to be said in his house because he spends 2 weeks with a black woman, and she tells him, like, that's not cool, and this is why this is not okay, and I'm gonna make you realize it's not okay, and he finally does realize it, and it's honestly really heartwarming to see, because it's like, wow, in 2003 when that episode aired, I'm sure that was like pretty commonplace that people were saying stuff like that.
Oh yeah, well, because I mean, at that point in our existence, we were kind of in a place of assuming that racism didn't exist anymore, so we were just past it, and we just say whatever we want because everyone's cool now, right?
The publication Jezebel did note, did America grow out of its love for swapping wives, or have producers realized that Wife Swap's archaic notion of wifely duties no longer has a place in the modern reality television landscape? Perhaps both. Because I guess they tried to reboot Wife Swap a couple years ago, and it just didn't really work out.
For the 10,000, yeah.
Because it just doesn't. Tends not to.
Yeah, I mean, it's a relic. I mean, you know how I would put it, and it's how I would put a lot of other reality TV that came around it. It really feels like you're just popping on an episode of the 20th century. Like, you're just watching a show that is
And because I
people's
grew up in
lives.
this time period, like it it brings back a lot of memories for me, as well as like it's fascinating to me to see how other kids of my same era like lived and like what their household rules were and yada yada yada. And also,
Yeah.
like, guys, I'm not gonna lie to you, sometimes it's just funny. I just watched an episode earlier and the family, they all do karate. The parents like own karate studios
Oh no.
and they're all really into the martial arts, and like I'm not gonna lie, it looks really cool when the 19-year-old and the 15-year-old are doing their like sword and fan stuff in the yard, but also like they eat sleep breathe karate, and I'm like, damn, if I was 19 I'd be like, y'all, I don't want to do this anymore, like I'm done.
Right.
And
Aubrey.
the like they did a bunch of editing with like a bunch of action music and like fast super cuts of them like doing this karate in the yard. It's
Oh
so
my
good.
god. I hate that.
It's
It's a
I wish I had something like that to look back on.
right. Oh, I'm sure I have plenty. I just have repressed it all. I've done a lot
Well,
of dumb shit.
we learned about super tough badass bitches in the dungeon and about America's old TV show Wife Swap and about how, there's a lot of
Television's
things
bad
that
for people.
happened with it, around it, in it, outside of it.
I think what we learned is reality TV is bad for people.
Reality TV is fake, but it's fun.
That's not what I said, Aubrey.
I know.
Whatever.
Okay, I'll go.
Why have you made me a reality show ally, Aubrey?
Yay.
And a reality show apologist. I didn't want this.
Can I end my stream?
No. No, you can't end your stream. It goes forever.